Long time no see, Nico.
Long time no see, and we are in a new millennium. And it's amazing that almost young kids of the new millennium are voting by the thousands for Imagine to be the song of the millennium. How do you feel about that?
I'm so happy about that. I'm very, very happy. It's a great honor, and I'm sure that John would have loved it.
Talk to me about John, and why would he write a song like Imagine? He was a visionary.
Yes, he was not only a visionary, but I think that he had a lot of emotion, a lot of love for the world, and he just wanted to express that, and he just wanted to say, hey, let's do this one, you know. And he believed in wishing for it, visualizing it, and getting it. So he thought, well, this way we can all wish for it together, sing this song, and get a beautiful life.
Did he really want to change the world?
Yes, I think so. I think he was very much into that.
Do you think he could have changed the world more if he was alive today?
Oh, definitely. But I think he already did, in a way. He already have changed the world in many ways. I think that at the time when John wrote this song, the peaceniks were people like the your uncle and aunts, you know, and just writing pamphlets that are very difficult to read, you know, about the world peace. And the children were thinking, oh, what's that, you know? They didn't want to know. So we did this thing called bed-in, which was like a fun thing, you know. And then so the kids started saying, hey, what's that? Oh, that's fun, you know. This year, I understand that in Liverpool, because this is, I don't know, some anniversary of the bed-in, that some kids are doing the bed-ins. And there's a contest of it, and the couple who wins the contest is going to be going to Montreal or something like that, you know. But I don't know, I mean, what would you consider winning? You know what I mean? And they're just all sort of like in bed saying, hi.
So I don't know who does it best, but the fact is that when you and John did it at the time, it was something so revolutionary that the conservative society of the times were really shocked.
They were totally appalled. Not applauded, appalled.
They never applauded though.
No. And I don't know, it's just, we didn't expect that they're going to be so upset about it. But a lot of people were upset. And then the other side of the world, and the other half of the world, the young ones, were just having fun, laughing, and thought it was great, etc., you know.
But remember that John had a unique talent to upset the wrong people, meaning the right people. I mean, when he made the statements about Jesus Christ, he upset a lot of people.
I know.
He continues to upset people now that we're finding out that the FBI was after him, and now that people are asking for these files to open, and all kinds of allegations coming out. Was he a revolutionary type, or he was mistaken as one?
Well, I don't know what you call revolutionary. I think he was, anyway, just being himself, you know. But he wasn't trying to join violent people, a violent group of revolutionaries, and try to change it that way or anything like that. In fact, there are many sort of underground people who thought that John was too naive. And John used to say, violence begets violence, we're not going to do it that way, you know. We're going to use peaceful method to get world peace. And they would say, oh, that's being naive, you know. And so we were attacked from those groups of people, and then we were attacked from the old fuddy-duddies, you know. It was really amazing.
It was ironic, though, that a guy who believed in sorting out the problems of the world via peace and peaceful means ended his life with a violent act.
I know.
How do you feel about the guy being paroled?
Oh, I don't want to touch that subject.
Okay, we shouldn't, because it hurts a lot of people.
And also, it's painful for me, you know. And John was actually asking that question. He was saying, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, those peaceful people, why did they get shot? Why did they get killed? And he was saying that, you know. And little did we know that he was going to have the same fate, you know.
Same tragic fate. And I guess that what happened at the time was injustice to the world itself, because talent as colossal as John was could have had such a longevity in producing and creating and making music, which was his best. Are there any new songs that we're going to hear in the future that you have and we're going to hear them in the future?
Okay, maybe there's some more, but I think most of them are out there. But you know, actually the way I feel about it is made as if he had known that his life was going to be not too long. He was a very, very prolific writer, and he did write so many songs, and write and produce so many songs. And so, you know, those songs are going to be there forever, you know, and they're going to be played forever. That's how it is, you know. So, well, if he had been here, would he have written more songs? Of course he might have.
Yes.
But he's written plenty, you know. For one person, it's almost more than enough, you know, and those songs are going to be playing all the time.
And is that the quantity, I guess, that matters as much as it is the significance of the songs that he wrote? Even the little naive early Beatles songs are now very significant to kids. When Radio Gold started playing 5 years ago Beatles songs, there was a generation of people that would know what the Beatles were. And all of a sudden
they said, hey, that's a great song. You know,
that's
like
a great song,
yeah,
it's a great group. When can we see it on stage? This is the questions that we got. And all of a sudden I suspected that there's a generation of people that never heard of the Beatles, never heard their songs. And 5 years later now, every one of those kids knows who each one of the Beatles was, and especially who John was.
And you know, some very smart bands, you know, the young ones, they're making great hit songs, and I listen to those hit songs, and it sounds very Beatlish. You know, I mean, they you know, they are very learned, educated people, and you know, they go to the history book and you know, make sure that, oh, this was a hit. Okay, well, what about this?
Let's get the recipe.
It's a bit like that, I know.
But it's only natural, because the great talents of the world naturally affect the creative decisions of the people who come after them. Well, let me ask you a question which is hypothetical. If John was alive today and he was writing songs, who do you think he would give his songs to from the contemporary big stars of the 90s and the new millennium?
Oh, that's a very difficult question. I mean, I think he would be more interested in creating his own songs and be involved with himself and listening to the sounds in his mind, you know? I mean, that's how he was. And I think that's how, well, no, that's not exactly true. He was very interested in other people's music as well, and there he was listening to them. But I don't know, he'd be creating more, I think, now, you know.
Would he give his songs to Mariah Carey, for instance, or to Celine Dion, you think? He would like other people?
I think he'll be honored that other people would sing his songs. I think he'll be, you know, very happy that people would cover his songs. In fact, his songs are covered a lot now, as you know.
Oh, yes.
You know? And I wish John knew about that, you know. John's always saying, well, I don't think they're covering my songs too much, you know. I'm saying, well, it's very difficult to cover your song because
sure.
You're singing so well, you know. I mean, nobody can sing so well, you know. But now they're covering.
You've lived with the legacy and the legend and his music. You still listen to his songs?
Of course I do.
Which one is your very favorite?
Well, I was going to say Imagine, but that's so predictable. All right, but I do. Well, you see, first of all, there are two ways that I listen to his music. One is because I'm taking care of his business, I'm taking care of his songs, making sure that the songs are still played and it's out there, etc., you know, not just end up in a library or something like that. So on a business level, I'm listening to it all the time. Somebody sends me a letter saying, could we cover this? And you know, this I want to cover. Let's hear it.
Not good enough.
You know, something like that, you know. And the other side of it is even when I'm shopping for my clothes or something like that, the radio, you know, I hear John's songs all the time. And In the beginning, it was very hard. When he just passed away, and I would go to a shop or something, and suddenly John is singing Woman, you know.
Did it make you think that you could probably go back in time and change something in what happened between you, John, the Beatles, and everything else? Would you? Would you change anything if you could go back in time?
I don't know. Sometimes I think if I could change my whole life, I mean, there's so much that I want to change. But the other thing is, that's not right either. You know, I was thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't have got into this whole situation, and you know, and then sort of I met John, who was a Beatle, and then there was a lot of problems there, etc.
Right.
You know, and I went through all these problems. You know, I think, oh, maybe that was not right. But I mean, it was good as well. You know, and we can't change anything really.
True, I guess we're products of what happened before. We cannot change it, and if we did, we don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
But if John was alive today, would you think that there would be a chance for a Beatles reunion even once?
I have no idea. But you know, the thing is, okay, maybe we should have been more careful. But I don't know how we could have been that careful. The only thing that I regret is the fact that John had to die the way he did, you know. And some people say if John was not in America, if he was in Britain, for instance, he wouldn't have been shot to death. Now, I don't know. I mean, people could have followed him anywhere, you know.
I mean, George Harrison was not in America.
I know.
Still, he was attacked by a lunatic. It happens in every country at every given time.
Well, I thought of all that, you know. But probably, you know. But yes, well, I thought, well, maybe if we weren't in that night, if we had a, I don't know, a different situation. You see, because when we got in the car, I just said, well, shall we go and just, you know, sort of have a cup of coffee or something like that before we go back home? And John was saying, no, because I want to see Sean before he goes to...
You never know. It's a portal of time. By 5 minutes, your fate can change, and I guess that we cannot help it. If it's going to be, it's going to be. You remember when John and you were in Athens? You were staying at the Hilton at the time, and we have some pictures of ourselves there.
Yeah, yeah.
You and him wanted to see astrologers and people around just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
So I took you around town, and most of them, of course, recognized John and you, and they started...
That's why it's not...
Yeah, but there was one,
Yeah.
one specific woman, which was the one at the very end of the day, who said she didn't know who John was, amazingly enough.
That's possible. Yeah.
She looked at his hand, and she said, you got to be careful because you're going to be shot on an island. And you were about to go on a cruise on Donovan's yacht the very next day.
Yeah.
You left. The very next day you went back to London because of what she said.
But it's a Manhattan
Island. But that's what made me think that you cannot discard and you cannot ridicule those supposedly predictions, quote unquote, because I was shocked when I was in a taxi cab in Hawaii when I heard the news that John was shot. And immediately when I heard on Manhattan, I thought Manhattan Island, 15, 16 years ago, that woman said you're going to be shot on an island. At the time you thought and John thought that it could be a Greek island. Manhattan was an island.
Well, we would never think of Manhattan as an island in that, you know, in that context. I mean, because we weren't going to live in Manhattan either.
Neither would I, but going back to that day, don't you think that it's amazing that it happened? Don't you think that people, I mean, who go to astrologers and palm readers...
No, look, I totally believe that some people are psychic and, you know, the message comes through some people. But the problem with the messages, I'll tell you, you know, it's not to put down those people, you know. That's genuine. I mean, there are many genuine psychics. But it comes in such a way so that, for instance, in our case, you know, she told us that, but we were not being careful in the way we should have been. You know, we were careful, but in the wrong way. we didn't go to the Greek islands or something.
It's only natural. When you are in Greece and you hear somebody will shoot you on an island, what can you do? Just fly away from it. You don't know that 20 years later you will be in Manhattan, which is an island, but you never think of it as an island. You cannot be haunted by this prediction for the rest of your life.
Of course not.
It fades out.
So in a way, the prediction may be right, but then sometimes I feel that, they're not that useful because we are still sort of blinded by some, greater power or something like that, that they don't want us to know everything,
Or I guess that if we did know, our life would be miserable.
Or our life would be different.
I wouldn't like to know.
No, I don't want to know either.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But talking about life, how's your life?
Okay. Well, I just went blank. I don't know what to say.
Would you
Usually
say
I would have some word coming out.
Would you say that you're happy?
Well, like most people, it's like a roller coaster, Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're not, And, but also I think I notice these days, especially after the beginning of millennium, many people are not very happy. And, a lot of violent things are happening in the world. And I didn't think that the millennium is going to, or should start like this. And I was in Spain, and just when I was there, the Basque terrorists exploded a bomb and 2 people died. It's just terrible things, And I don't understand why we're still doing that. Because, like John said, imagine there's no country, it's not hard to do. I mean, first of all, already Europe is easy. So why get excited about nationalism?
Right. But they used to say that at the end of the last millennium, or at least it's theoretical end because it's not practically till the end of 2000, it was natural to be seeing the phenomenon of decadence and decline and everything because it happens towards the end of every century. And then the world regenerates itself. So it's either that this theory is wrong, or because we're not at the end of the millennium yet, this is the last year of the previous millennium.
Yeah, maybe, right.
Typically it is. I mean, it was a popular misconception that we are in the new millennium.
We were thinking of that. But we were thinking that you journalists wanted to milk it, and that's why you were doing that. And then you can milk again. Oh, that was not the last year.
Let's have it again.
Let's have it again.
Right. And I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be the case. I think that everybody, more or less, has believed that this is the new millennium. And maybe if we believe the theory, as of next year, the world is going to be better, it's going to regenerate, new ideas.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
Well,
and I really think that, a lot of things that John and I did had some results. I like to believe that.
Back at it, I think for those generations, for me, growing up in a small country like Greece, the first time I heard the Beatles and I played them on the radio, it was one of the very significant moments of my life. I could never imagine that I would meet the Beatles later on, that I would be friends with them when they came to Greece for the first time, and then I would get to know you and John. I regard that as one of the very significant parts of my life, that I got to know John. And I believe that every kid of this millennium would give his right arm to be able to do what I did. And in that respect, I guess, I was so thrilled to know that 85,000 people, without having a way to communicate between themselves, through Radio Gold's website, voted for Imagine to be the song of the millennium. More than anything else, I was thrilled because the demographics of those people were young ages. It was not my generation.
No, isn't it exciting?
It is amazing.
Yes, it's such a thrill, isn't it?
It is amazing that his words, his music, his thoughts, his vision is affecting a new generation to be better.
I just want to say thank you to the people who voted for John. Thank you.
And I would like you to have this award for John.
Ah, okay.
It's a plaque.
Oh,
it's a gold plaque.
All right.
And it says, from Radio Gold of Athens, Greece, and its listeners worldwide, to John Lennon, visionary, revolutionary, idealist, and everything that he was for imagining Song of the Millennium.
I'm going to do this, yeah, okay.
All right. And at the very end, I put something which comes out of me personally, that he will live forever in our heart and in our soul.
It's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yoko, and thank you for accepting. I know that you're stingy with interviews and publicity and stuff, and justifiably so, because I know that people would like to grab you and get a piece of you and get a piece of John every day of your life. And I really thank you. I flew all the way from Athens to be here with you, and I appreciate that, and I believe that a lot of people around the world will appreciate it.
Well, for you, Nico, this is such a pleasure for me too. Thank
And
you.
happiness.